Hey, hi friends. We read the carrot seed yesterday and we planted a seed. Today we're going to read a book about a little boy who plants his seed. His name's Jack. It's called Jack and the Beanstalk, but this is a little bit different because it says, and the French fries. So there might be French fries. Jack was a little boy who lived with his mom, and they didn't have a lot. And the mom was worried. She says, we're about out of food, and the cow has stopped giving us milk. So go to the market really quickly and sell the cow for as much money as you can get. So Jack had two directions. Take the cow to the market, sell it for a lot of money. Well, he meets this little man on his way to the market. And the little man says, I've got magic beans. I'll trade you my magic beans for your cow. For some reason, Jack thinks this is a good idea. Well, he takes it home to his mom. Mom is not happy. Mom is pretty upset. She throws the beans out the window and sends Jack to his room with no supper. But the next morning, Jack wakes up and he is super excited. He says, look out the window. And the mom says, I already have. You were right, they're magic beans. And we have porridge, bean porridge for breakfast. So mom was excited about that. But then for the next few days, what do you think they had? Beans. There were bean salads, bean soups, pickled beans, refried beans, baked beans, minced beans, mashed beans, breaded beans, bean sprouts, and bean dip. Oh, after a while, Jack got tired of beans. He dreamed of hamburgers and French fries. Couldn't we have something else? He grumbled. So mom made him bean chowder. Why would you want anything else, said the mother. Beans are delicious and nutritious, and best of all, they are free. And thanks to the magic beanstalk, there were beans in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, and even in the winter. It kept growing. Jack's mother shared the beans with the whole town. Everybody was eating beans. At first, everyone was really grateful. But then Jack could hear all the howls of the children blocks away saying, please, no more beans. Oh, and at school, the children said, it's all your fault, Jack. And he said, it really wasn't. My mom's who threw them out the window. On his birthday, Jack was given a bean bag and a slice of bean cake topped with a dollop of iced bean. That does it, he said. The beanstalk must go. So he's gonna chop the beanstalk down. But here comes his little friend who still has the cow. And he says, don't you wanna go up the beanstalk and see what's there? Jack thinks about it and it's like, well, maybe. So he crawls all the way up the beanstalk to the very top. And there he sees a huge house. Now, he's not sure what to do, but he is hungry. So he follows the path and he goes inside and he sees Mrs. Giant. And she says, what are you doing here? And he said, I was hoping for something to eat. Silly boy, don't you know where you are? My husband is a giant, twice as big as me, and likely he's very grumpy. I'll bet it's because of the beans, said Jack. Don't be ridiculous, said the giant. Beans are nutritious and delicious, and best of all, they're free. But Jack was right. Ever since the mighty stalk had appeared, the giant has been eating nothing but beans, and Mr. Giant was sick of beans. Look, here he comes now, and he says, fee, fi, fo, say, what's for lunch? Quick, said Mrs. Giant, you must hide. Jack dove head first into the flour barrel. See him? Oh boy, I'm hungry. Good, said Mrs. Giant. I made you a nice bean salad. Bean salad, he cried, but all we ever have are beans, and I'm tired of beans. We love beans, she said, and they're good for you. I'm busy, said Mrs. Giant. Now sit down and eat your bean salad. The giant ate, but he was still complaining. What I wouldn't give for a plate of French fries. Without thinking, Jack said, here, here. What's that? Cried the giant. Nothing, said his wife. I know what I heard, and it came from the flour barrel. The giant pulled out Jack by his feet, and he turned to his wife and he said, what is this? It's just a boy, said Mrs. Giant. He was looking for something to eat. Maybe he is something to eat. Look, he's already breaded. Don't be disgusting, said Mrs. Giant. Yes, said Jack, don't be disgusting. She just said, stop, both of you. If you want something else to eat, go and plant it in a garden. A vegetable garden. Well, it's not a bad idea. Jack says, well, to make French fries, we would need to plant some potatoes. So they thought, well, maybe we could do that. So Jack and the giant came down the beanstalk, and everybody was like, oh, what's going on? And they said, we are going to plant a garden, and we will have lots of different things to eat. So they worked very hard. And they worked together. And the giant said, grow. Patience, said Jack. Soon the giant grew bored and headed back up the beanstalk, but Jack tended the garden every day, and the vegetables grew and grew. In fact, whatever magic had produced the beanstalk seemed to be working on the other plants as well. Before long, the backyard was bursting with carrots, corn, potatoes, tomatoes, and asparagus. Everything was enormous. There was so much food, they didn't know what to do. So Jack and his mother cooked up a big feast. The smell spread across the village and all the way up the beanstalk. By dinner time, everyone was there, even the giants. It was the most stupendous meal anyone could remember. They all agreed that the food was delicious and nutritious, and best of all, there were French fries. So Jack went up the beanstalk and made a friend, and they worked together, they planted the garden, and then they shared the vegetables. That was pretty nice. Now, do you think our beans are magic? I don't see anything growing yet. We'll have to wait. Like Jack says, we have to be patient. Now we have a video of Jack and the beanstalk. Let's see if it's the same story or different.
Jack, who lived with his poor widowed mother. They had sold almost everything they owned to buy food. When their last cow stopped giving milk, Jack's mother sent him to town to sell it. On the way to town, Jack met a strange fellow who told him stories of magic beans. Where can I buy some of these magic beans for my mother? Asked Jack. I have the last 5 magic beans, and I will sell them to you because you are a good boy. The strange man smiled at Jack. Well, I have nothing but our old cow, and we need the money I would get by selling her for food. The man replied, Trust me, my boy, these beans will bring you food and fortune, and your mother will be proud. Jack hesitated, but finally traded the cow for the beans. When Jack returned home, his mother was furious and threw the beans out of the kitchen window crying. Jack went to bed that night, sad and hungry. He woke the next morning to find a huge beanstalk growing in the garden. The beans really are magic, he cried. Jack saw that the stalk reached the clouds. He remembered stories about the clouds containing gold and started climbing the stalk to see what he could find. He climbed and climbed. When he got to the top, he saw a huge castle and headed for it. The door was so big that Jack could crawl beneath it. Once inside, he saw a giant man eating his dinner. When the giant was finished, he called his servant to bring him his bag of gold coins. While counting his money, the giant became drowsy and fell asleep. Jack crept up to the giant and stole his bag of gold. He struggled down the beanstalk with his money, and when he got to the bottom, he called for his mother. Jack's mother was very happy because this money was the same money that the giant had stolen from Jack's father many years ago. But she was also afraid. She knew how dangerous the giant was and made Jack promise he would never go back. Well, Jack did promise. After a while, the money began to run out. Jack began to wonder if he would find anything else in the castle. Once again, Jack decided he would go back up the beanstalk and back to the castle. Once again, he reached the castle and climbed under the castle door. And once again, he found the giant eating dinner at his table. When he was finished this time, however, the giant called for his magic hen. Jack was amazed when he saw the hen lay an egg of pure gold. While the giant was watching the hen, he again became drowsy and fell asleep. Jack crept silently to the table and grabbed the hen. When he returned home, his mother was very angry that Jack had gone back to the castle. She grabbed Jack's axe, intent on cutting the beanstalk down. Jack begged her not to and showed her how the hen could lay golden eggs. Jack's mother put the axe down and watched with delight as the hen laid one beautiful golden egg after another. After a while, Jack's curiosity got the better of him, and he once again thought about what else he could find in the castle. Once again, Jack decided he would go back up the beanstalk and back to the castle. Once again, he reached the castle and climbed under the castle door. And once again, he found the giant eating dinner at his table. And once again, when he was finished this time, however, the giant called for his magic harp. Jack watched as the harp began to play beautiful music all by itself. The music was so beautiful that before long, the lazy giant once again fell fast asleep. Jack crept silently to the table, but as soon as Jack picked up the harp, it began playing very loudly in his strange hands, and the giant awoke. Fee, fi, fo, fum, yelled the giant, and he chased after the boy and his harp. Jack raced to the beanstalk and slid down. He could feel the stalk shake as the giant began climbing down. Luckily, his axe was nearby, and he began chopping down the beanstalk. The beanstalk shook and cracked under the weight of the giant and Jack's chopping. Finally, the stalk snapped, and the giant fell to earth, never to be seen again. Jack and his mother lived happily ever after. The end.
Okay, that was a different story about Jack and the Beanstalk. And the one I read, Jack helped the giant grow a garden. They worked together, and that was pretty nice. He didn't take anything from the giant, did he? That was probably a good choice. Kind of a thumbs down choice. In the video, Jack took things that were not his. So those are two different stories. We will keep watching our bean, see if it grows, and we'll see you next time. See you Monday on our Zoom class. Miss you.